serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Well, now, welcome to You Cannot Be Serious. And just going to put a call into the great Greg Evans shortly. Now, we're not speaking to Dickie from Muff today. We're getting a different slant on he's having a rest, having just a small, he's on vacation just for a week. We're going to speak to Dr. Barney McCuskey. Dr. Barney McCusker, hopefully. I had to change the time. He hasn't got back to me, but I presume he'll be available after we've spoken to Greg. He's going to give us his take on it. He reckons Kamala Harris is going to be the next president of the United States, and she may well be. I want him to tell us why he thinks that will be and what particular assets and contribution she'd make to the once great United States. So, and then we've going to have a chat to the great Gary Dempsey, who won the Brownlow Medal, I think, in 1975. I reckon he did. I should know that. But should brush up on that before I actually speak to him. So we're going to speak to him. So I'm going to have a chat now to, going to ring Greg Evans. But first of all, we'll get this out of the way. Now the Dr. Ben Fordham, I rang him, I texted him, I said, "Are you coming on, please, this week?" He said, "Mate, I'm in Paris." And I should have known that. He's over there on a junket over there. I know he'd be doing his show from there. The great Ben Fordham, who's number one in Australia or all other places.
Did you forget that he was going over there?
I did. And he sent us a nice video of him riding down the Champs-Élysées on a bike. So we'll put that on. We might put that on instead of me standing here saying what we're doing at the end of that. We might promote the show with him on there.
That was funny.
It was. So I looked up. You'll see that he's riding the bike without a helmet. He said, "Bonjour," or something from Paris, Sam, or whatever he said. And I looked up why aren't you wearing a helmet, doctor, in French. And I relayed that back to him. So as yet he hasn't got back. I don't think he understood what I said because my French accent wasn't that great. It wasn't great at all. So
it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
For an Aussie.
So I might, is he an Aussie, is he Lizzie, is he an Aussie, is he So we might put the doc on his greeting from France, and then we might put my response on my response and see if he can work out what I said. Anyhow, we're going to ring, now just quickly, michaelchristianmenswear.com if you want to buy the caps and the shirts. You Cannot Be Serious. Very, very popular they are. I've seen plenty of them around here. Well, I've seen several of them around here in Airlie Beach and at the Coral Sea Marina. People wearing the caps. They've obviously got them from michaelchristianmenswear.com. And you can get the signature ones with Doug Hawkins' signature on it and mine as well. So you can get them. And I also, just quickly, a shout out, I said to this man, I saw Chris. Chris, his name is. If your name's Chris, you can claim this as a shout out, but I saw Chris at the Cannon Valley.
Cannon Vale.
It's Valley.
Is it?
Isn't it?
Vale. Cannon Vale.
Is that right?
You keep saying Cannon Valley.
Well, when Sue Stanley OAM is looking this up, it's either Cannon Valley or Cannon Vale. We've only been here for 6 weeks, we should know. We're going to ring. We're not going to ring. We're giving a shout out to Chris from Cannon when you tell me what it is. We saw him in the grog shop down there with his little nipper buying some grog. So he said he listens. So I'm giving you a shout out, Chris, when I work out where you're from. Cannon Vale it is. Well done, Sue. Well, I'm going to show you. I looked it up and it's got Cannon Valley on my thing. Anyhow, that's it. So we're going to ring up Greg now. So here we go. So that's what we're doing at the minute. So just a minute. Now, where is Greg Evans? Where is he? Here he comes now. Right now, when he answers the phone, here he comes.
Hello.
Hey ho, Greg Evans. How are you?
A little less of a hoe, but I'm very good, thank you.
Yeah.
How are you?
Oh, yeah, no, we're going okay. Now, I said we had just a small mix-up about the times because I said I was going to speak to Barney McCusker at 10 o'clock, and he's half an hour behind like you are half an hour behind. Northern Territory time and South Australian time are on the same standard. They're on the same time frame. Did you know that?
That is correct. Yes, I knew that.
So
did you know that?
Obviously, I didn't, because I said to Barney I'd ring him up at this time. I said I'd ring you up, and you said, no, you're half an hour out. I said, absolutely, I am too. So anyhow, here we are speaking to one another. You're half past whatever. It doesn't matter what it is there.
No, it doesn't. No. I'm in Darwin. Where are you?
I'm in the Coral Sea Marina, along with Suzanne Stanley OAM, who's listening to this. Say hello to the great
Howdy, Greg.
Gregory Evans.
Hello, Sue. I'm very pleased that you're there to look after him. I've been checking out the YouTube and seen him nearly swallow the plastic switch. That'd been funny, wouldn't it? How would you have turned the lights on if he'd swallowed the switch?
I would have just pulled his nose. Once for on and twice for off.
You're looking after him.
As long as it was just my nose. Now, Greg, I suppose have the Olympics have they got the Olympics caught fire up in Northern Territory, or are you not worrying about that?
Oh no, we're watching the Olympics. It's a bit hard. It's the time difference is hard. It's much easier to watch it on replay, really, isn't it?
It is. But, that's exactly what I do. I tape it all and then trawl through all the ads and just see the main bits.
Tape it. Do you have to teach me how to tape it?
Just press record on your thing.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Now, what I was going to say was the Matildas, amazing stuff. Just watching them come back was an absolute joy, and swimming's good. And it was a bit sad to see Djokovic and Nadal probably play their final game together, and he'll probably retire now. I think Nadal, don't you? I don't know, but they're playing it on 2K, aren't they? Not on hard court, or is that not right? Well, clay, whatever it is.
Clay, on 2K.
Why would you still do that? That'd be like playing golf on sand, wouldn't it? Well, we've got all this high-tech tennis court stuff. Why do you want to go back to clay?
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. I haven't seen the tennis, but I just saw them advertising, and I thought, shit, they're playing it on clay. They're playing it on 2K. I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
I suppose that's where it was born. But go on.
No. So before, and don't take this the wrong way. Before I call them the mainstream sport, the track and field, the athletics. That's what I think the Olympics is not about. But I like those. But I've been watching all the other sports, the equestrian and the dressage and the mountain biking and the kayaking and the boxing and the every other sport, and the surfing. The surf was too big in Tahiti for the women to compete, so they gave them a lay day, so to speak. But I just want to say this, this is not a reflection on the people that do it. Not really a reflection on the people that do it. What in God's name is skateboarding? What is that in the Olympics for? I've watched it with interest to see if one of the competitors from any country can actually go down the rails or the slides or the pretend banisters or the sidewalk walls without falling off the bloody thing. No one has ever gone down. They all fall off, and then they pick it up and they start again and they fall off again. And you've got, in some sections, you've got 12 and 13 and 14-year-old girls competing for an Olympic gold medal. What's that about? And they can't stay on the board either.
Oh, dear me. I heard Bruce McAvaney say that he was thrilled by it, gripped into it, loved it.
Did he?
Got up in the morning to watch it.
The skateboarding.
Because he likes all sport. He doesn't skateboard, but he enjoyed the sport, and he referred to former Olympic Games where they used to have the tug of war. I mean, when you go right back at the history of the Olympics, there must have been some pretty primitive sports that they've phased out. So they're bringing in new ones, and this is one of them. Well, in 100 years from now, it'll be phased out like the tug of war.
Yeah, but Greg, we have got children competing on boys who come over from all parts of the country, all the world, and they get on their skateboards like you see them in the skateboard parks. They cannot stay on the board. They fall off, and they just pick it up. And then you got the young men, that 35-year-old skateboarders come, and they do exactly the same thing, and they just, it matters not. And skateboarding, and it's just giving the indication to kids in cities to go and deface all the banisters and all the stone walls and all by jumping on them and defacing and chipping them up, and half of them don't go to the skateboard parks. It is the most ridiculous sport to have in the Olympics. Not a reflection on the people that do it because they're trying their hardest, but it is nonsensical. How'd you be if you walked in? How'd you be if you walked into a friend's and you said, "Oh, this is Margaret. She's 14 and a half," and you look up on the wall and she's got a gold medal hanging on the wall, and you say, "What's that for?" She said, "I only fell off the skateboard 4 times in my heat, as opposed to the 32 times all the other people fell off." It's extraordinary.
Well, yeah, I can't disagree with
Bruce likes it, does he?
Bruce likes it. Well, Bruce likes all sports, as you know.
Yeah, well, no, Bruce is a star. He is a star, and he's well versed. I bet he hasn't got any stats on skateboarding. He's usually got them. He's like a ticker tape machine. He's usually got stats coming out his ass. But I bet you he hasn't got any stats on the history of skateboarding and streetboarding.
That's true. I bet. Yeah.
God, strike me.
Who knows? Skateboarding. So, was it finished or is it still going?
Oh, I think they're going to keep doing it until someone can finish a routine without falling off the board. I think that could end by Christmas. I reckon they'll just extend. It might go through the disabled Olympics. I say this. I'm not saying this facetiously or unkindly. The disabled athletes would probably compete absolutely just as well as the able-bodied ones on the skateboard, because they'd probably fall off it just like the able-bodied skateboarders do.
Very good.
And then we could get Caroline Wilson to go over and commentate on the disabled Olympics, seeing as she mocked them and said disabled athletes weren't really sports people. Crowds only go there to watch them fall over and make fools of themselves. That's what she said. Don't. That's what she said. If you don't, I'll send you the tape of her saying it if you don't believe that. So how she wouldn't how she wouldn't have been run out of the media for that. If you said that or I said that, we'd be out of the media.
Sure.
And the other thing, Greg, if I just before you give us a minute to say something, Sam. I've said this every time I watch a sporting event. The editors and the producers who televise sport have no idea how to televise sport. They do not have an empathy with the people who have actually played the sport. How many times do you see in either boxing or swimming or golf or any sport at all, and you watch the competitors, the combatants, walk towards one another to either shake hands or embrace or not even give them a cursory glance, and the producers invariably, every time almost, cut to an inane shot of the crowd waving flags or banners. We want to see the emotion of the combatants walk to one another and embrace or shake hands or do whatever they do. They always miss the emotion of the moment, and they've done it again these Olympics with the swimmers. The 2 swimmers, great women swimmers for Australia. They were swimming over the lanes to each other to embrace, and they went to a shot in the crowd of their we're very happy to see their parents there and their family. If we could just show the swimmers just embracing, and then we could cut away to the other peripheral aspects of what this sport's about. Have no idea how to capture the emotion of sport, Greg.
Yep, I 100% agree with you. I was watching the tennis and watching Rafael Nadal. Now, I'm interested in his pre-serve ritual, and it's quite a ritual. And I was talking to the Badger about it, and I said, you watch him. You watch what happens when he goes to serve. And they cut to the crowd just as he was about to serve. It's
extraordinary. He goes tits, balls, wallet, and watch. He does. He touches his agates. He touches his side. He touches his coit. He touches his flange. He touches his chest. He wipes a little bit of imaginary sweat from his eyebrow. He curls the back of his hair, and then he lets go a serve.
Oh, that's exactly what happens. And then there's the camera on the crowd.
That's right. And I bet I'm sure that someone must tell him. I bet when he lost, or did he lose, Rafael? When he walked to the net, if to shake hands, they usually go to their support staff in the box. Mangy, rangy people sitting there shouting and snorting bloody whatever they're eating. No, we just want to see them say, well done, or up your bum, or whatever, but they never do, or they invariably don't.
Yes. Now, we're talking about producers not being across that. What about commentators? Poor old Tubby Taylor has come into criticism for his commentary on the diving. He knows nothing about it, and Channel 9 put him in to commentate on it.
Yeah. And does he have? I watched it. I watched it. I watched him. I didn't think he was that bad. He had someone. Surely he has an expert or someone who's proficient in diving beside him, doesn't he?
Now, Sam, I didn't see it, but I read that Channel 9 have been bombarded with emails demanding his dismissal. He should be sacked, they said.
No, that is. I've watched it. I thought he was he was stating the obvious. If you could see a heavy splash into the water, he would say, which is quite correct, that entry wasn't as good as it should have been. But surely they would have a diving expert like they've got. I can't remember, but they've got someone doing the. They've got all the sports. They have a generally good commentator or presenter, and they have an expert beside to give to fill in across the T's and dot the I's about the excellence of the sport.
Mark has broadcast and commentated on cricket all over the world for 30 odd years. I mean, he's an expert at it. He's a professional. I didn't see it, and I would have thought that he would be fine. But it's pretty heavy when they write to the channel and say sack him.
Well, I've watched it. I'm as you know, Greg. I'm very happy to say I'm very happy to give my opinion. And if I thought I watched it, and if he got up my nose, I would have said so. I didn't find it offensive at all. I thought he was
good.
He was okay, and but not like the British broadcaster who lost his job on the spot when he said the women were a bit late coming out for the medal presentation because they're probably back in the rooms doing their makeup.
Whoa!
That went over like a wrought iron hang glider.
Whoa! Gone. Speaking of things that you can do and can't do in this world these days, I noticed the word woke comes up a lot with the presidential elections are coming on, and aren't they gripping? But there's some woke things been happening in the Northern Territory as well, Sam. Can I tell you a little bit about it?
You can indeed, please.
Right. Well, we are in the Northern Territory, and in late August, there is territorial elections because they don't have a premier up here. They have a chief minister, and so we've got to vote for who we want as which party we want in and all that. And and with it comes different promises, and they're out there promising this and promising that. And I was talking to my mate Sandy Beach. Now, Sandy Beach is the breakfast announcer. Yes.
Is that the real Sandy Beach, or is that a pseudonym?
You can ask him about that, but he walked into Gold FM. Well, I wanted to see if we could talk to Sandy Beach because I want him to tell everybody. So he does the breakfast program on 8HA in Alice Springs, and he's been doing that for a long time, Sandy Beach. And he said to me something the other day, and I thought, my goodness, we better. Would you like to meet Sandy? Would you like to talk to Sandy?
Well, I see now. Sue's just received a text of his number. So is that the number you've just sent?
I just text that through.
I ring him.
Don't have to, but if you can.
What now?
Technically that advanced. Why not? See what he's up to.
And you are just deferring to the producer here. So, Sue, if I ring Sandy Beach, Greg will be on the line as well too, will he?
Yes, both of you will be.
Well, here we go.
That'll be good. He'll be finished his show now. So
this is off the top of our head. This is without notice. You've sprung me on this, so...
Sandy Beach.
Right,
stay tuned because you're going to go on hold there for a minute,
Greg. So this is...
Oh.
Can you hear that, Greg?
No,
he just said he was going on hold.
Hopefully he's going to answer. Does he know you're calling?
I don't know. Greg, no. This is Greg set this up.
Holy.
Yeah, this is going over well.
Morning.
Is this Sandy Beach?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Is this Sandy Beach?
Morning, Sam.
What?
Good morning.
Now,
Can you hear me?
Now we're starting again. Greg, are you listening to this?
I'm here, Sam.
And did I hear Sandy Beach speak, or was that you saying good morning again?
No, that was Sandy. Sandy, say hello.
Hello.
Sandy, it's Sam Newman here. Can you hear me?
Mate, all you blokes sound the same.
Well, this is reminiscent of when President Nixon spoke to the men on the moon in 1969. They could make it happen. Can we make it happen?
I don't think they've been able to make it happen then, even if they had the technology today. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sam. Sam?
Yes, Sandy. Is it Sandy?
What is the official name of your podcast? Is it called You Can't Be Serious? Is that right?
You cannot be serious. It's the words taken exactly from John McEnroe when he shouted at a linesman back in Wimbledon days in 1982 or whenever he did.
Well, I remember. You cannot be serious!
Yeah, that's exactly it. Sandy, now, Greg...
Sandy. This is going to be good enough.
I tell you what,
now,
Greg,
Sandy,
Greg, I tell you what, so we don't talk over one another. I don't know if there's a delay, but you go ahead with why we've got Sandy on the line, please.
Right. Sandy, you're in Alice Springs as we speak to you. Yeah, I'm in Darwin and Sam's somewhere on the coast. First of all, before we get on to what I wanted to talk about, which involves Barramundi, what's happening in Alice Springs? What's been happening in Alice Springs?
What else do you reckon is happening in Alice Springs? Everyone's nervous, looking over their shoulders, not quite sure if they'll make it from one week to the next. No, anti-Labor's done great work over here.
Yeah. Are they going to get back in at the elections?
I don't care. All I know is I'm getting out.
Why are you getting out, Sandy?
Why? What did I just say? What would any other Australian in right mind would do if they were living in a place that's become what this is? You know what the new term for Alice Springs is? I've just coined on the radio this morning.
What?
Joe Aliceberg.
So crime is rampant, is it?
Oh, well, in comparison to what? Tijuana in Mexico, we've been rated the 18th most dangerous city in the world.
Is that right? So you're not a state, you're a territory, of course, up there. So what are the governing bodies doing about it? What is the problem? Is it drunkenness? Is it unrest? Is it racial tension? What's the problem?
It's wokeness.
Ah.
Yeah, go on. Go on. You've struck a chord there with Sam.
My word, you have.
Don't get me started, boys. You know, it's only just a slippery slope down the hellhole of Beachy's bitching.
Well, now, expand on wokeness, please, Sandy.
It's do-gooderism on a brand new level, boys. It's the typical bullshit that is happening in the world today, and what this has been a gradual build-up, I just might add, because, look, you know, I'm a black man. I live within the sphere of what goes on here, but I am not closed-eyed. I am not blind to what is going on here. And what's been going on is gradually a deriding and an erodement of the original custodians' ability to carry out their lifestyles in a form and a way that was congruent, how would I say? It was congruent to the way in which their cultural behaviours used and you know, culture and their old disciplinary ways used to behave, or how they used to go about behaving in their old disciplinary ways. So that's been taken away by your do-gooder white society, your social justice warriors, all of those characters. You know what I mean? You want to go down this road? I'll take you down a road that's going to get a lot of people triggered, man.
Yeah.
Sandy.
What did he mean, Sam? Sam, what did he mean by all that?
No, Sandy, first of all, did you say you're a black man? No,
I don't I got an invitation.
What? Are you indigenous?
I'm many things. I'm most definitely an Australian non-white. I'm a non-white Australian. And I don't identify with any particular type of, and this is the thing is, identify this, identify that. No, I mean, it doesn't matter. You're black or you're white. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it might be. At the end of the day, we all get painted with the same brush. And I just don't believe in all of this segregation that goes on. But basically what's happened here is a general eroding of First Nations people's ability to go about their business in a culturally correct manner, right? Which has been completely taken away from. So in other words, your elders no longer have elder powers of the elders. They don't have that anymore here in Australia, especially in outback Australia. So what used to once be meted out in the form of discipline, boys, doesn't happen anymore. So what you've got is over the last several generations, everything just going to shit. Okay? No more discipline. There's no more fear. There's no more respect for their elders. The elders can't do anything about it. And
You're talking about the young one. You're talking about the young Indigenous.
The biggest problem here is your age group between the ages of 10 to 21 to 25. So 10 years of age to 25 years of age. All right? That's it.
No more respect. Now, Sandy, let Sam ask you a question. Shut up and let Sam ask you a question.
Well, I've just Suzanne Stanley OAM has just got a picture of you up on the phone, so I can see exactly who you are. So you're not a black man, but we all identify as Australians, and this is my point about it, Sandy, is the fact that we've had these plebiscites, the yes/no vote. We have welcome to country now asking school kids to put their hands on the ground at assemblies to say that this is not our land or someone else's land and pay respects to it. All that's fine, but the longer you keep doing that, the more you are dividing the country along racial lines. And this is my point. Why are we doing this? We are all Australians, and they keep browbeating us with all this nonsense, and a lot of Indigenous people think it's ridiculous, but the wokeness that goes on and the people who are invested in this, the vocal minority, keep pushing it because it's just a dollar thing.
Yes, 100%. Couldn't have articulated better in the most political correct way that I couldn't muster.
Now, the reason that we wanted to talk to you this morning was there's been a change. The barramundi, people come to the Northern Territory, lots of fishermen, to the Northern Territory to catch fish, right? Barramundi. And Sandy, with your cooking skills, you'd know about namas. Is that what it's called? No, numna. You know what numna is?
No.
Did you say numbnuts?
I thought he said numbnuts.
Yeah, numbnuts. That's a whole different thing, Greg. I think that's numbnuts.
It's when you cook fish in, you don't cook it, you pickle it in vinegar and lime juice and lemon.
Oh, like roll mops.
Well, yeah, I guess so. And anyway, tell us about the barramundi, please.
Well, basically, the Northern Territory government announced earlier this year, it was around about middle of June or early June, that they're going to phase out commercial gillnet fishing. And this is going to affect the barramundi industry. It's going to be phased out over 4 years. Now, do either of you know what the gillnet fishing concept is?
No.
Not only don't I know what it is, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, well, it's new to me also. I mean, ostensibly it means large rectangular mesh nets, which were used or are still used by commercial fishing operators. And they're suspended vertically and mostly at the mouths of rivers. Now, bear in mind, I'm getting a lot of this information from the ABC NT because I live in the centre of Australia, so very little in the way of barramundi here, especially crocodiles. But politicians, there's plenty of the idiots. Having said that, so of course your usual range of groups, including who they call traditional owners, barred commercial fishers from accessing Indigenous-owned waters. That's fine. I mean, where do you draw a line? Are there lines in the waters you can draw? I'm not quite sure. Anyhow, your other groups would be your lefties, your greenies, your do-gooders, and all the rest of it. I mean, up until now, I don't know how much the bycatch has been in terms of like that has affected these the wildlife out there, the fauna and so on. So, but anyway, at the end of the day, the decisions come down. It'll begin, I think it's even now started to begin, either way, whether the NT Labor get back in or CLP get back in. CLP are chiming in and wanting to bang the same drum. So I think it's very much politically driven towards gaining votes. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. So they're going to ban commercial netting. Is that it?
That's correct. Now, this is an interesting thing because over the next 4 years, there's a lot of people who are making their daily bread, out of this. So what happens to them? Do they get pushed into having to invest in farming barramundi? Now, I don't know about you, Greg, but have you tasted farmed barramundi? I don't think it's a very nice type of fish to consume.
There's certainly a distinction between that and wild barramundi. The wild's much better. So we won't be getting much wild barramundi anymore. Is that what you're saying?
Well, let's put it this way. Well, if it is going to be wild barramundi caught, it'll be under the auspices of it being stipulated as needing to be, like caught with hand line or fishing line, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to make barramundi an extreme. If you want to buy a wild barramundi, you'll be paying like double or 3 times per kilo the price if that's what's going to happen. My concern is if they're going to go to fishing or commercial gillnet fishing and they decide to go to the farmed barramundi, mate, it's just another way that people can control what the barramundi can consume that they want to put in our bodies. Call me a conspiratorialist, but I smell a fish. I smell fish.
Yeah, let me tell you just how much bullshit the people who John West and Sockeye, the people who actually sell cans of tuna and salmon in supermarkets, they have on the can, they say, responsibly farmed. Do you reckon the people who work for John West go out in boats with hand lines and catch all their fish that they put in tins around the world? They will catch it in huge trawlers full of nets, and the only thing that nets put the fear of God into are whales. That's how you get rid of the whale population and have them wrapped round in some of your nets. Sandy, I was fascinated by you say have our Indigenous neighbours, have our Australian neighbours called Indigenous people, have they claimed that there's Indigenous waters?
Yeah, there are portions up there in the top end where Greg is holidaying at the moment, which, according to what I've been led to believe, there are a bit like green zones on the barrier reef, right? So you barrier reef. So I guess you could call these brown zones or black zones. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, talking to very irreverent person here, and I take offence at you not calling me not being black. In the grand scheme of things, is black or white? Well, no, I don't take really offence.
Well, hang on a minute. Tell Sam you're not. You're brown, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm very brown. That makes me much more black.
Give us a look at his photo again, Sue, please. I'll describe him. Hey?
It's probably been photoshopped.
No, we've looked up Sandy Beach from H8HA, that's hard to say, 8HA. We've looked him up, and I'm going to describe Sandy Beach to our friends who listen to this, if Sue can just get it up on the machine here. Could I ask you this, Sandy, while we're just locating your photograph? Is having much trouble down our end of the country? Well, I'm not there at the minute, but down at the bottom end of Australia, we are dealing with non-binary people. You've got to be careful of the pronouns you use when you're addressing people. There's trans people decide. Here he is. Let me have a look at Sandy. There he is. There's Greg Evans and Sandy.
There should be the Google images with Greg. That's Greg and myself there.
That's it. Now let me describe who you are. There's two people. There's an Indigenous man on Greg's left, and there's another balding man with a ziff beard with his thumb up in the air and a pair of headphones on. Which one are you? Are you the Indigenous lad on his left, or the balding Clark Kent with the aging Clark Kent with the glasses on his right?
You got a good-looking bloke, the one over there with the beanie.
Jesus.
Oh, thank goodness.
Just back to your original question there, Mr. Newman.
Yep.
I just wanted to ask you, how do you calculate the amount of woke
The number we calculate the number of woke by the number of marches and parades on any given week clog up our streets in the name of transgender surgery, pronoun applications to your name, non-binary people, LBGTQ. Nothing wrong with any of these things, but they keep browbeating us about how we have to just completely change our life to fit in with a very small minority of the population. And in the end, it becomes so tedious and so boring that people just kick back on it, which is basically what I'm doing. We don't care what you are or who you are, but stop telling us that we have to live our lives differently just to cater for your particular bent in life.
And now, on that note, Sandy, we're going to say goodbye to you. I think he's gone. I think he's gone, Sam. I think he's dropped out.
Have I?
Yeah, no, that's all right. Can you hear me, Sam?
I can hear you, Greg.
Yeah, well, that's Beach is gone.
Did we
He's dropped
offend
out,
him?
But, no, he's just dropped out. He's trying to ring us, but I can't connect him because you're
no,
in there.
don't answer it. Don't answer it.
Well, he had me going there. I didn't know. I'm not familiar with Sandy Beach, but he's a very charming man. But he's of Indian descent. He's an Indian.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't tell that from the photograph.
Well, I think he was born in Australia.
He's an Indian Indigenous Australian.
That's what he is, I guess. Now, anyway, Sandy Beach will go back and do his breakfast program, but you were talking about genders before.
Yes.
J.D. Vance. J.D.
Yes.
Vance, the running mate of Donald Trump, has openly said that if they win, the Republicans win and Trump's in, there'll only be two genders, male and female, and everything else gets the flick.
Well,
we're going back to basics. Only two genders will be. They'll change the laws, male and female. But I mean, don't forget these are extremists. They don't want to recognise the gay and lesbian society or anything like that. But gender-wise, J.D. Vance says we'll be going back to male and female, and that's it. Full stop.
No, so Greg, I don't think. I think they you and I, we all recognise anyone who, whatever they want to be. Now, seriously, we do that. We don't care if there's gay and lesbian, there's bloody trans. We don't heterosexual, homo. Makes no difference, honestly. And if you walk around in the streets in the community and you introduce to people at a function, you couldn't give a stuff who they are or what they signal as. It's the relentless bombardment to accept a people who want you to change your lifestyle by calling them they, their pronouns differently, addressing them as this, giving carte blanche to clogging up the streets with endless processions to promote their different lifestyle. That's all. I am on about. It's just this is a bit like the nationality of the country we live in. We are Australians. I notice in Paris, I notice in the hotel where the athletes are staying, it mightn't be the athletes are staying, but in a prominent hotel in Paris, there are 3 flags flying outside the front front entrance to the hotel. There's the Australian flag, there's the Indigenous flag, and there's the Torres Strait Islanders flag. Is there any other country in the world that has 3 different flags that represents the country that is competing at the Olympic Games? It is just, this is not disrespectful to those other 2 flags. We are competing for Australia, and Australia's flag is what it is. And to keep dividing the country about, they've got some of their uniforms now have Indigenous patterns on them. That's fine. Why they've got Indigenous patterns on them? Just we are green and gold, and that is all you're doing is just we pay respect every day of our life to people who were here before us, not the original inhabitants inhabitants, but the people who were here previously before us. Why we have to thank people for being in a country that we've been in here longer than anyone who's actually telling us welcoming to our country. It is ridiculous, and it just goes on and on, and it doesn't matter how many plebiscites or how many times we ask people to vote, they take no notice of the vote. They just keep going on and on. It is a money spinner, and it's just absolutely staggering.
Very good.
This
well,
I
thank
say.
you. Now and that's about all I've got to say about that. Now listen, Sam. Cars. I know we didn't get around to talking to Sandy Beach. He's got a Viper, but
a Dodge.
But there's a. Is it a Dodge or Viper?
Yes, a Dodge Viper.
Yeah. We should have talked to him about it because he had it. He brought
he
it
hung
out
up on us.
I think we got cut off. Anyway, Beach, thank you for coming on. Now, there's a series out. Now, I don't know how old this is, but I've just caught up with it. It's called Cars That Built the World.
Yep.
Are you familiar with it?
I am. Yep.
On SBS Catch Up, it's there now. I was just flicking through the other day and I caught half of, I don't know, episode 2 or something. Carl Benz was just invented the very first motor cart, he called it. It was like a dray. The very first thing that took people around that wasn't pulled by a horse.
It was very close to being a T-model Ford.
Well, it was a cart. It was a
Yes.
Jinker with a little one-cylinder motor that Carl Benz. They called it the motor cart. But anyway, this series, Sam, you've seen it, obviously. It's fascinating, electrifying. It's just really worth a watch, and it's on SBS Catch Up.
And the cars that revolutionised the world, you'd think they're not the flash Mercedes and Lamborghini. They're the basic models that put motoring on the world map, like the T-model Ford and the Volkswagen. When that came out, there was 20 million of them made. And then in American parlance, more the Mustang, when that started in 1962. They're generically famous brands, the Citroens over in Europe and all those.
Yep.
So they're not the flash brands, but they're the ones that set the scene.
That built the world, yeah. Well, a couple of interesting things that came out of it. Look, as you know, I get upset when people drop their T's. You know, like I think Toyota should be pronounced Toyota. And when you see people doing advertisements and they say Toyota,
yep,
or water, or computer, it upsets me.
Or
a little
say
bit.
H.
Yeah, but not everyday people, but broadcasters and people that are paid to do commercials, I think, should not drop the T and turn it into a D. It's not water, and it's not a computer. Anyway, but did you know it came out in this series that the man's name was Mr. Toyota? With a D.
It was. His name was Toyota, and they thought it would be marketed better if he put a T in there. That is absolutely correct, Greg. Well done. I was actually going to mention that, but you've beaten me to it, thankfully. And
because in Japanese, 8 is a lucky number, and there's only 8 symbols or strokes or whatever to say Toyota, but there's 12 to say Toyota. So therefore, he changed his name from Toyota to Toyota, and you still see people advertising it on television, calling it a Toyota.
Yeah, and I can give you another piece of trivia from another Japanese car manufacturer, Nissan, or Nissan as they call it in the States. Every Nissan that races has the number 23 on it, because 23 in it. 23 in Japanese is ni-san. So it goes ichi, ni, san, yon, kyujo, hitch, hatch, whatever it is. So 2 is ni and 3 is san. So it's ni-san. So they always put 23 on their cars.
Yeah. Oh, that's good, isn't it?
I think
another
that's good.
piece of trivia. No, I do. It comes from, and I don't know whether this is true, and I didn't see it on the series, but the derivation of the term okay.
No.
Any thoughts?
No.
One theory is that Henry Ford, when he created the T-model Ford, and it was the first on the production line, there was a supervisor who checked all the engines, and his name was Otto Kruger.
Well,
And Otto Kruger proved that the engine was good, and he stamped his initials in the engine. Okay.
that is
And,
extraordinary.
and-
So Otto is obviously a German. I think Henry was.
Yeah, oh, you'd say so.
Well, I think Henry Ford was very, very in with the Germans. He was Henry Ford was considered to be an anti-Semite.
Oh,
Anti-Semite.
I didn't know that.
Yes, he was. He was not a friend of the Jews, as I understand it. No, I think that's an absolute fact. So, So just
okay, Otto Kruger. Anyway, I'm sure
that's
there's
very good. That's I like that.
many theories about where it came from, but
Well,
let's see.
speaking of controversial, well, not that that's controversial. What about the opening ceremony? Now, at the opening ceremony of the Olympics, we had drag queens, kooks and weirdos dressed up as cicadas and insects, fat people sweating, taking the piss out of the Last Supper. Now, if you want to take the piss out of religion, that's fair enough. A, what would you do it at an Olympic Games for? B, why would you try and piss off half the world who are Christians, or maybe third of the world are Christians? And C, what is the point of taking the piss out of a mainstream religion at the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games by having weirdos and kooks dress up as bloody some sort of marauding plague of insects, fat, overweight people sweating, trying to make a spectacle out of religion? If you did it to the Muslims, if you started to take the piss out of the Muslims at the Olympics, they would raise the Olympics to the ground overnight. Why was that allowed to happen?
Well, the producer denies all this, of course. He says he was only reflecting society, not demeaning it.
So
why would you do it? Yeah, dangerous ground to walk on.
So the Last Supper, as I understand it, not a great religious man myself, but that is the bastion of that is almost the base plate of the religion of Christianity, the Last Supper. Why would you, if you're not trying to debase or defile or degrade a religious, trying to embrace it, why would you take the piss and slag the Last Supper by putting all those weird kooks in doing that?
Yeah, well, I got no idea. He's backtracked, and it's received criticism from all over the world, as you say, from religious groups and many other groups. And the producer simply saying, no, I didn't mean any harm. I was just reflecting it in an artistic way.
Well, of course, he just to say he should be fired forthwith is just ridiculous. He should have. Why didn't he dress up as a fat faggot and walk around being stupid and pretending he was? I mean, honestly and truly. So, Greg, were you bemused?
And the one just before you get off it, wasn't Celine Dion good?
Gee, we have got empathy. We have got telepathic, whatever I'm talking about. I was about to say, were you bemused by Celine Dion lip-syncing the song she sang from the Eiffel Tower?
Was she lip-syncing?
Yes.
No.
She lip-synced it.
She mimed it.
She did, because, Sue, tell us, you said, you told me this. I'm not tipping you in, but this is a fact. You said that it was hard for the acoustics to be portrayed properly from the Eiffel Tower, so she lip-synced it. Did you not?
I don't know. No, I didn't.
I thought you read that out to me.
No. No, I didn't.
She was not.
You didn't.
No.
Celine
Must have been someone
Dion's
else.
going to sue you now.
No, Sue says it must have been someone else, so there's obviously someone else living on the boat with me.
She would have been singing that live. She would have been.
Oh.
I'm told she was lip-syncing it.
Well, then we're going to have to...
Doesn't matter, it's her voice, but
No.
she was just mouthing the words, a bit like Villy Manilli or Nilly Vanilli, or whoever that is.
Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli.
What,
We're looking
Sue,
that
what
up.
about the
I'm going to take that back
Yep.
if that's incorrect. We're looking that up.
Sue, what about the piano she was standing next to with all the rain on top of it? Wouldn't that bugger the piano? Like
Well, you'd think
all the
so,
rain.
wouldn't it?
Did you see? Yeah.
Maybe it was a waterproof one, though.
But maybe Steinway maybe Steinway Steinway provided the piano, and they better add 3 or 4 out the back in case the rain did come. Steinway or Yamaha or
he wasn't even playing it. If it was lip synced, it might have been a prepared backing track.
That's absolutely. We're looking this up, Sue. We're looking this up, Greg. Rather, and
she would have been live, and he would have been live.
Yeah, all right? Well, we're taking this on advisement. Here comes Sue.
Well, it does say Celine Dion sang live during Olympics opening ceremony. Unlike Lady Gaga, report, Celine rehearsed secretly at 3 a.m. from the Eiffel Tower the day before.
Yeah, what about Lady Gaga? Yeah. Did she sing at the Olympics?
I'm getting there. Just give me.
All right.
Well, she might have been lip syncing because of the dancing, and it might have been just far too difficult to mic up, and for fallback reasons, maybe with Lady Gaga, but certainly not Celine.
Well, all right. Well, the jury's out on that. I'm saying the jury's out on that. Now, Greg, have you been following any AFL up there?
Well, I don't know. I get so disappointed with the Demons. And just this bombing it inside 50, I just get very upset at the way they're playing football. Bring it to ground, bomb it in, and hope for the best. But I'm still loyal to the Melbourne Football Club. I'm getting a lot of joy out of watching Carlton. They're my second favourite team, I suppose. Geelong's going all right. And Sid.
Go on. I was just watching.
No, you go.
I'm not speaking. You're speaking now. Go.
What have you got to say?
Well, I don't know how closely you've been watching the AFL. I've been a captive audience up here while the boat is just resting because it's broken. I've been a captive audience of the football, and I've seen some stats and some explanations of where players stand and how they should move the ball. You know, the commentators trying to find something different to say about how the game's played. But I saw the most nonsensical graphic that came up. It was called the pressure gauge. It was called a pressure gauge, and it had different coloured bars on it, and it said how much pressure, whatever the side was, say it was Melbourne, how much pressure they had exerted at any one time of the quarter, and it went red, and then when they didn't exert a lot of pressure, it went light red, and then it went pale red, and then it went blue, and then it went yellow, and by the time they put it on, flashed it on the screen and took it off, it just looked as though they were taking a picture of a rainbow. And you thought, what? Who would have worked that out? Why would they have put it on? And what the fuck did it mean? That is people trying to justify their salaries by saying they're technological geniuses and nuclear physicists. The pressure gauge, watch for it. If they keep going with it, they'll probably, if they write in about Tubby Taylor getting the arse, they'll probably write in about the pressure gauge never being seen again. I've never seen anything more contrived and ridiculous in my life. Oh, Jesus.
Well,
now,
maybe it was invented by the producer of the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. The pressure gauge. Is that on Channel 7 or just exclusive to Fox or what?
Well, I watch it on Fox because you don't get any ads, but they take the same feed. Surely the pressure gauge wouldn't be just exclusive to Fox, because I'll start switching to 7 if the pressure gauge comes on again. Pressure gauge.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say, Greg, that they do say the singer Celine Dion did not lip sync at the opening ceremony in Paris.
Oh.
However, all performances, including Lady Gaga, Juliet, and other people, were all pre-recorded in case of technical problems. Yeah. So read between the lines on that one.
Yeah, I'm sticking with what I said. I'm definitely saying she lip synced it. It's her voice. She's not fudging anything, but she's
You're saying lip syncing is miming to your own voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying that.
She would have been singing live.
I'm going to investigate further, Greg. Now I've found a new. You won't be surprised. I found a new man to watch in football. He's a Sudanese lad called Mariad Chol. CHOL, and he plays for Hawthorn. And he was Hawthorn, who are on the rise. He was. He reminded me of. People say I've been drinking or I'm on drugs. He reminded me of Graham Farmer. Not his colour, his skills, his skill set. He did. So I'm just Marboyd Chol. He's a Sudanese lad, big lad, and coordinated man. Great kick for goal. I think was he a left foot? I can't remember. So he is. I thought Jeremy Cameron when I was on the Footy Show about 10 years ago. I said watch for Jeremy Cameron when he was at the where he used to play for. What's that Sydney side called? It was not the Sydney Swans. Greater West Sydney. When he made his debut there, and then Geelong poached him. I said, what a great thing for him to go to Geelong because he is a star. Well, I reckon Mariad Chol is going to be the next big thing in AFL football. And if I might say so also, Greg, that it's about the football I was going to say about... Oh, yes. So they have a listen to this. You must have seen this. Darcy Moore, who's the... Is he the captain of Collingwood or...
Yes, he's the skipper.
He's Peter Moore's son, the great Peter Moore. Won 2 Brownlows, one with Collingwood, one with Melbourne. They've cited his form slump due to the fact that he doesn't live with his girlfriend Dee Salmon. They've said because Dee Selman or someone said it was heteronormative learned patriarch behaviour that a man lives with a woman because, a man is not necessarily the head of the household and is not the boss and is not the key man in the relationship. So it is heteronormative behaviour not to be a patriarch by living with your boyfriend, and they've put that down to the fact that his form hasn't been good. Do you hold any credence to that theory? I would say it'd be a bonus not to live with your girlfriend. You slip around there when you want to do a bit of horizontal folk dancing, and then when that's over, just drift back to your own digs and just relax. Probably why I haven't had a lot of success in this area of my life.
You'd have to revert to Tiger Woods with that one, wouldn't you?
Hey, I missed that. I was laughing so much I knocked my microphone
You'd have to refer to Tiger Woods about that. He comments pretty openly about that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he reckons if you let one, if you take the top off it before a performance, it can deplete your sort of it can dissuade your concentration because you're thinking of other things, mainly because you've got a large lump in your jodhpurs and you can't swing the golf club round it.
Jeez. Gives a whole new meaning to a hole in one.
Yeah, hits a nice ball. Now, Greg. So that's called heteronormative learned patriarchal behaviour.
I've never heard of it. I wonder if Darcy Moore's ever heard of it.
Well, his girlfriend, her name is Dee Salmon, she runs a sex clinic on radio. She does sex therapy on the radio.
Education.
Education, Suzanne says.
And what does Dee identify as?
A lizard. No, she identifies, I think, as a female, a woman, or someone with 2 X chromosomes, but is just doesn't want to be. I don't know why I'm speaking. I have no idea what. But so that she's not going to live with Darcy Moore, but she's keen on him apparently. Now, just 2 other things, Greg. I want to get your opinion on. I always thought, do you know what the river in France is called? What do you call it?
Well, we always called it the River Seine.
The River Seine. Exactly.
Always.
They're calling it the Seine now.
Yeah. Now why?
I interviewed Eddie last week, and I said, what's the River Seine has got a bit of adverse criticism because its E. coli levels are up over the out of the charts. He said, yes, the River Seine has come in for criticism. And I said, it's Seine. It is called the River Seine. Why people call it the River Seine has got me. If you look it up in the dictionary, it tells you how to pronounce it. S-A-Y-N.
Always. Well, we used to do jokes, remember? Fell off a bridge and went insane. It was always called the River Seine.
Well, it is the River Seine.
And I have no idea, and I don't know why they're doing it, Sam. I've got no idea. Someone's put out a directive. Why would they be doing it?
These would be the people who pronounce the 8th letter of the alphabet as H, and these would be the people who produce television and don't show the combatants shaking hands, but go to inane shots of the crowd just when you want to see them shaking hands. Now, finally, Greg, from me, hang on,
before you get off the rivers, I've got a joke. There were two people walking over the Thames River in London. And there's a drunk, and he's on the ground, and these were tourists, and they said to the drunk, "Is this the River Thames or the River Thames?" And the drunk said, "It's the River Thames." And the tourist said, "Are you sure?" And the drunk said, "Of course I'm sure."
That's shocking.
That's terrible.
That is ridiculous. I was going to counter with another joke, and I've lost my train of thought. I've lost my train of trying to. We did this last week. That's Benny. The old Benny Hilda's this. Big this young girl comes in, big bust, and she's come in for a lung examination, or she's got asthma, and Betty Hill's got the stethoscope on, and he said, "Come in." He said, "Now big breaths, please." He said, "Yes." She said, "No, I'm only 16." There was another one I was going to do. I can't think of the other one I was going to tell you.
Dear.
Now, finally, Greg, from me, yes. Did you know? Yes. Now, this, if you want to try and insult people's intelligence, they say global warming has changed. The climate change has changed the world so that it is making the days a little longer. Climate change is making the days longer. They say because the ice is melting at a fast rate at the poles, and therefore that is altering the tilt of the Earth in its relation to the sun. And the days are becoming a little longer by 1/1,000,000th of a second or something, and someone has calculated that, Greg. And so if we were here for 1,000,000 years, you and I, if we're still doing this 1,000,000 years on, I don't know what 1,000,000 half seconds add up to, but that probably adds up to 100 years or something, does it? Who knows? Anyhow, thank heavens the climate's changing, because we're getting just a little more sunlight as we go on.
Very good. Well, I don't know. There's no answer to that, is there? There's theories all over the world, and they're all different.
Well, Greg, this has been. We've gone for an hour. Can't you believe? You cannot believe that. And we had Sandy Beach. I don't know what Sandy Beach was talking about, but you've introduced him to us, and I appreciate it. My life is the richer for speaking to Sandy Beach.
Thank you, Sam.
And my life is the richer, Greg, for speaking to you, my friend.
Well, thank you, my friend, and safe travels and anchors away. And good luck with the rest of the voyage. Next time I talk to you, I will probably be in Victoria.
Good on you, mate. All the best.
Thanks, Sam. Hooroo.